1267. Central Continent's Reinforcements. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Northern Plains, Snowy Mountain. Blessed Land, First Snowy Peak. Once more. Lady Wan Shou approached Ma Hongyun step by step, holding a ball of lightning in her hand. Go ahead, Ma Hongyun nonchalantly rolled his eyes. Lady Wan Shou snorted, throwing the ball to Ma Hongyun's chest. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Lightning sparkled all over Ma Hongyun's body. Ma Hongyun was clenching his teeth, actually maintaining his consciousness amidst the lightning assault. When the lightning assault ended, Ma Hongyun did not faint, but was sweating all over, with a flushed face. I failed again. Lady Wan Shou could not believe it. What is going on? Something is not right. She had already failed who knows how many times in trying to lightning refine Ma Hongyun. Even though the success rate of rank 8 Immortal Gu was extremely low, there was no reason for being stuck at this one juncture from the start. Lady Wan Shou felt like vomiting blood, especially when she saw that Ma Hongyun had already advanced to rank 5 peak stage. Moreover, because of the repeated lightning refinement failures, many lightning path Dao marks were engraved on his body. If Ma Hongyun cultivated lightning path, these Dao marks would no doubt give him tremendous help. Aren't you tired of always doing this? How about changing to another method? Even I am bored. Ma Hongyun knew his death was certain, so he no longer cared at this point, making fun of Lady Wan Shou. Lady Wan Shou's eyes shot out cold light that shone on Ma Hongyun, and incomparable pain immediately attacked his body and mind. He no longer had the content expression as he raised his head and cried out miserably, his whole body twitching non-stop. Lady Wan Shou silently listened to Ma Hongyun's screams, but the cold light from her eyes did not stop flickering. Ma Hongyun yelled himself hoarse. Finally, his eyes rolled back, and he fainted. Lady Wan Shou gave a cold snort. The cold light from her eyes gradually dissipated and revealed her thoughtful expression. Zhao Lianyun is already close to dying. The number of times Love Immortal Gu can show its might has become limited. It seems Lady Wan Shou has also noticed something. Far away in Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace, South Desolation Immortal was well aware of the situation in Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. Right now, he was also somewhat impatient. Central Continent's Gu Immortals had still not appeared. What on earth were they planning? Capturing Love Immortal Gu was preparation. Ancestor Giant's son made in the past, we, his descendants, shall complete this perfectly. Nor, Black Extremity, prepare to move. South Desolation. Immortal sent his command to Longevity Heaven through information path methods. In Longevity Heaven, the 8 extremities were still controlling Calamity Luck Altar and besieging 5 Elements Grandmaster. As they heard the command, 2 rank 7 Gu Immortals immediately separated from the formation. Black Extremity and Flood Extremity. We shall go now, Black Extremity said to the others. Come back quickly. Heaven Extremity did not dare to split too much of his attention. Without 2 rank 7 Gu Immortals, they were even more helpless against 5 Elements Grandmaster, and could only maintain the current situation while they waited for Black Extremity and Flood Extremity to return. Lux Suppression, Heavenly Palace. Everything is going according to plan if this continues. Love Immortal Gu and Ma Hongyun will return to Longevity Heaven, Central Continent Gu Immortals. If you still don't make a move, it will be too late. South Desolation. Immortal thought to himself. Rumble. A loud sound was heard. The entirety of Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace shook violently and was actually forced to reveal itself. Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace. So all of it was your doing. Destroy this Heavenly Palace. Take revenge for our companions. 2 immortal Gu houses were floating in front of Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace. One was giving off sounds of hundreds of canaries singing together. Extremely agile, it was Canary Pavilion. The other was surrounded by strong winds and stood lofty and tall. It was Windsweeping Building. The 2 immortal Gu houses had imposing air, but cracks could be seen on both of them. Clearly, Central Continent's Gu Immortals had to pay a huge price to get out from the spaceless tunnel. All of you finally appeared? South Desolation Immortal gave a cold snort as he quickly controlled Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace to defend themselves. The two immortal goo houses from Central Continent Pincer attacked Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace from in front and behind. Although there was giant sun immortal zombie inside Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace, he showed no intention of making a move. He had been sitting here for countless years, only retaining enough strength to make one attack. It was to repay a debt to someone. Right now, even though Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace was being attacked, he was still sitting cross-legged at the center of the palace, aloof and indifferent. Soon, sweat started forming on South Desolation Immortal's forehead. Lux Suppression. Heavenly Palace was strong, but it had one big weakness. It had to stay at this place and could not be moved. The moment it moved, even if it was just a hair's breadth of distance, it would destroy its 300,000 years of effort. Whereas Lux Suppression. Heavenly Palace had spent 300,000 years before it was able to influence Black Heaven and White Heaven above Northern Plains. The moment it moved, this effort will be wasted, and it would no longer be able to influence Black and White Heaven. Lux Suppression. Heavenly Palace was like a huge defensive umbrella that firmly protected Northern Plains. This was the arrangement Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had left behind for his descendants. How could South Desolation Immortal destroy Ancestor Giant Sun's motives just because he was being attacked? He could only choose to face the attacks head-on. Central Continent's side had come prepared as they erupted in explosive offenses, actually gaining the upper hand against Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace. Yao Huang, come help me in controlling this immortal goo house and fight off the enemies. South Desolation Immortal spoke. Yao Huang quickly agreed and moved to help. With a second rank 8 goo immortal controlling the immortal goo house, there was an immediate effect. The battle situation stabilized. South Desolation. Immortal's expression was filled with doubts. Strange. Why did these Central Continent goo immortals' attacks suddenly fall off? Also, they seem to have met with an accident in the spaceless tunnel. I remember there were clearly 3 immortal goo houses. Where is that strongest one? Edge Link Camp? Was it destroyed in the spaceless tunnel? But at the next moment, South Desolation Immortal's eyes opened wide as he received the latest information. Edge Link Camp has appeared above Snowy Mountain, Blessed Land. Longevity. Heaven had already infiltrated Snowy Mountain, Blessed Land. Thus, South Desolation Immortal was extremely clear of the situation in Snowy Mountain, Blessed Land. Boom! A huge explosion resounded, and a continuous and intense tremor spread. The 12 snowy peaks of Snowy Mountain, Blessed Land were all shaking violently. Immortal Goo House Edge. Link Camp's power was extremely high. After all, this immortal goo house had 2 rank 8 goo immortals. One was Wei Ling Yang, the other was Bi Chen Tian. Myriad Tidal Dragon was controlling Windsweeping Building, while also using Canary Pavilion, restricting Lux Suppression Heavenly Palace. Edge. Link Camp had great might. Even if it was in Snowy Mountain, Blessed Land, it was contending with the power of the fate reversing sacrificial refinement formation, firmly floating in the air like a nail. We are saved. Reinforcements have come. Why is there only Edge Link Camp? What about the other 2? The 5 Central Continent goo immortals, who were at different snowy peaks, simultaneously raised their heads and looked at Edge Link Camp, their spirits greatly lifted. Edge Link Camp also discovered these 5 goo immortals, especially Jialian Yun, who had love immortal goo. Wei Ling Yang and Bi Chen naturally wanted to save them, however. The fate-reversing sacrificial refinement formation was not for show. Edge Link Camp tried to charge down, but was met with a very strong formless force. The super goo formation here is not simple. It actually uses reverse flow river. Reverse flow river is actually in old ancestor Shuihu's hands, but this goo formation relies on Snowy Mountain Blessed Land. It is rooted to the Blessed Land. We cannot deal with the goo formation, but we can destroy Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, thus destroying its roots. This goo formation would then collapse by itself. Wei Ling Yang and Bi Chen discussed for a moment before deciding on the plan. Boom, boom, boom! Edge Link Camp let out fierce offense. Giant horn shadows continuously bombarded at various areas of Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, causing extremely huge quakes. Snowy Mountain Blessed Land turned into an apocalyptic scene. Avalanches took place at all the snowy peaks. Huge rifts opened on the ground, and countless birds and animals fled in panic. Husband. Lady Wan Shou had stopped Gu refinement for the moment. She was standing beside old ancestor Shui Hu with a worried expression. Dear, if we let this immortal Gu house continue to attack, snowy mountain-blessed land will be destroyed sooner or later. At that time, this refinement path Gu formation will also be destroyed. But you can relax. What can a mere immortal Gu house do to me? Let me teach these meddlesome central continent Gu immortals and make them have no way back. Old ancestor Shui Hu laughed loudly as he boldly charged towards Edge-Link Camp. Both sides fought an intense battle in the air. Edge-Link Camp, which was being controlled by two central continents rank 8s, was actually suppressed, unable to obtain an advantage.